Business Events Tasmania are part of, I suppose, the flash economic improvement of Tasmania that the Reserve Bank Board are going to come and have a look at. That's a list. I've been trying to work out how you get invited to that lunch of special business people. Do you donate somewhere? I don't know. What do you have to do? But they've had huge growth, and now the next step in the plan is to name a whole bunch of ambassadors to go and spruik the state, much as the Premier is about to do in China. To other people. So who are these ambassadors for Tasmania and how are they chosen? Stuart Nettlefold has been heading up Business Events Tasmania for some time. Hello, Stuart.
Morning, Rick.
And Paul Holper is one of the ambassadors and is the director of Scientel. G'day, Paul.
Good morning, Rick.
And congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you very much.
Ambassador for Tasmania. That's not a bad thing, is it?
It's a great
It's
thing.
not a bad thing. What gave you the idea of doing this, Stuart?
We've more or less been rolling this program out for a number of years now, but we thought we'd formalise it a bit more. So we've appointed the Premier as our patron, and today we are officially announcing a number of our key ambassadors, including Paul, who's come down from Melbourne.
Events business events as a growth area, how much growth have you seen? Because presumably when this kicked off, let's have conferences, it's like everyone wants to do that. So how much has it grown here?
We've just seen an extraordinary growth period. So for the 2015 year, the Tasmanian Visitor Survey figures came out a few weeks ago and we saw a 42% growth. So 40,800 delegates attended a conference here in Tasmania. And when you add partners on, that'd be well over 50,000. So we've seen some really good numbers. And what that does, that would value the sector at around about $132 million per annum. And just to put that in context too, the delegate is the highest contributor in terms of spend in the visitor economy. So it's a very competitive sector. So we've lined up a number of these key ambassadors that we've worked with over a number of years to formally acknowledge what they do, but also to potentially recruit more ambassadors. It doesn't stop here.
I was going to say, what does a conference delegate spend compared to a backpacker or a cruise ship visitor?
Yeah, look, what we know from our research is a delegate spends around $572 a day. So I think...
Because they are not spending their own money half the time, are they? You get the double hit.
Yeah, they're here and, they come, they stay in the hotels, they drink our good wine. They have a number of off-site, cocktail parties at venues like Mona or Frogmore Creek, and the money spreads far and wide. But what we're looking at more for the Ambassador Program is the intangible benefits that the program, brings, the beyond tourism benefits, such as really aligning conferences to our key economic drivers as an economy, areas such as agriculture, information technology, advanced manufacturing, renewable energy, in a whole range of areas. So aligning, again, to those economic drivers where we can showcase as an economy what we do really well.
Okay, so that's about getting a bit smarter, moving away from just, please come to Tasmania, we're a place too, which I think we've kind of well beyond that now, going, we're a choice destination for people for a conference. Everyone's always wanted to come, haven't they? But then you're going, okay, well, let's pick and choose who comes here. Now, what does Scientel do?
Scientel is a science and environment technology communication company.
And where do you operate?
We operate right across Australia and overseas as well. As Stuart mentioned before, we're based in Melbourne. I've had a lot of experience with conferences and events here in Tasmania. I used to work for CSIRO, and this was always a highly attractive place to come for events. It is such a centre, as Stuart said, for a whole range of really important sectors and industries. So, a real sort of catalyst of activity.
So in your role as ambassador, is your job to be like a really well-liked, well-travelled person who then says, Tassie's great? Is that the gig?
In part, yes, but it's a pleasure to be able to do it because Tasmania is such a wonderful place. Delegates will get a great deal out of events here, and Business Events Tasmania will help people. So if locals, for example, are thinking about running a conference and they think to themselves, I've never done this before in my life, I couldn't possibly know where to start, get on the phone or the website, Business Events Tasmania, because they, for me personally, have been really, really helpful in holding my hand, supporting me, making the connections, pointing me to suppliers for events that I've been involved in running.
So you help people locally as well, Stuart?
That's right. And so the idea of the Ambassador Program is that we line up, people such as, just to give you an example of some of the ambassadors is Professor Neil Bose, who's the principal of the Australian Maritime College. or Arthur Lyons, who's the manager of Private Forest Tasmania, Professor Holger Menke, who's the head of school at the Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture. So we're working with all these centres of excellence to work with them to specifically target a conference that, again, aligns with what they're doing as an organisation. So, yes, we are very much engaged with the local community and actively seeking out these people, heads of industry, or they may even be a person that sits on a national committee of an association that can then help us bring that conference here to Tasmania.
So you're almost just targeting people who can bring you a conference, not so much people who are sort of super well-travelled and might meet a lot of people and just spruik generally?
Oh, look, we're also using these key industry people and heads of organisations to use their global networks, very much so. So, for example, they might attend a conference somewhere in Europe, and then we might be able to identify that that's a conference that we can get here to Tasmania.
What happens then? What do you do from Business Events Tasmania when you hear, okay, these guys are... These are ripe for the plucking?
Yeah, look,
do you jump on a plane? What's your travel budget like?
We're very proactive in that area. My team is interstate and overseas from time to time. But just to give you an example, Paul was made an introduction to us to a person called Bronte Tilbrook at Ciro. We then contacted Bronte and worked on the 4th symposium of CO2 in high oceans. So what we did then, we put together a number of stakeholders, including CSIRO, IMAS, which is the Institute of Marine and Antarctic Research, and then put together a bid on behalf of Tasmania, a destinational bid. It was competitive bid. We were up against China. We were successful, and now we'll have over 500 delegates or international delegates from 34 countries around the world coming into Hobart May this year. And just to give you an idea, NASA will be in town, the American Society of Scientific Research, the Packard Foundation. So all these international organisations will be here in Hobart in May this year, which again aligns to some of the really good research that CSIRO and others are doing in that space.
Great talent for us. Just writing that down, May, NASA in the studio. What do you have to put on the table for heavy industry in Tas to get them here? We've got to give them very cheap electricity. So when you're making an offer, what do you put on the table?
Oh, look, we get those key people together to help put the bid together, but also the destination is really key to it as well. I think as Paul said, we have a great destination. It has very good pulling power. The Tasmanian brand is hot at the moment, so we're very much using that to our advantage.
But do you make offers of things? Do you sweeten like when you're bid? It's like the Olympic bids. They go, no, well, there's no rates. We'll do this. We'll do that.
Look, we know that some of our competitors do offer a bit of enticement, subvention as they call it in the industry. But wherever possible, we try to, again, promote the virtues of the destination and the key people within the destination to win the conference. There might be occasions where we have to put a bit of money on the table, but we sort of weigh that up on a case-by-case basis.
I mean, surely in Tas you just go, it's so cheap, don't you, Paul? It's so cheap.
And so beautiful too.
Yeah. You don't need any sweeteners at that point.
Generally not. The location speaks for itself.
Is there a point, Stuart, where we hit a capacity in terms of what we can handle? Are we anywhere near that?
At the moment, we're very active in attracting conferences in the corporate area. So again, we deal with high-end banking groups or insurance companies, a whole range of clients to the association, scientific and research. So at the moment, we're working in capacities of anywhere up to 10 people to 1,100 delegates. So 1,100 is more or less our capacity at the moment.
Adelaide's just had a massive new convention centre built and a medical research facility and a hospital. Do you think we need a better convention centre here?
Look, that's something we're sort of looking or doing a bit of work in the background. So we've just completed a pre-feasibility report on the potential of a convention centre, and we hope to release that in the next few weeks.
Where do you want to build that?
Look, I'm not
Macquarie Point?
A position to say that at this stage, but look, there are some options around Hobart. Macquarie Point is one.
Well, it's taken because I've got my water park there. Sorry. Yeah. But you can integrate with it maybe. It'd be good. Good to talk to you this morning.
Thanks, Rick.
Stuart Nettlefold from Business Events Tasmania and Paul Holper, Director of Scientel, who is one of the ambassadors that will be announced today, spruiking your state.